here we are for another episode of Represent in the Workplace, and a very special one for me. I'm joined by my brother, Christopher McLarty, technical program manager at Citrix, and someone who's been a great inspiration to me throughout my life. So we're going to grill him today. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, Jamie.
Thanks for coming, bro. I really appreciate you doing this. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. I wouldn't say enjoy lockdown, but keeping sane.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough. And what are you doing to keep safe during this lockdown period?
I think for me, what I tend to do is actually try to go for long walks. So just break up the day. So mornings, exercise, and start work. I kind of start work around from about 9-ish sometimes. My kids are kind of homeschooled at the moment. However, they do video calls in the morning, so it's not too bad. They're pretty much self-contained for the morning, so which is great. Yeah, so work, have lunch, go for walks, and then spend the evenings, afternoons up to the evening sometimes working with calls as well, just interact with people across the globe, obviously, in the US and UK.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much my my daily exercise.
Okay. Sounds like you're keeping busy then. You've got a lot of things to keep you busy.
Yeah. There's lots of things going on.
That's good. That's good. So are you happy for us to jump into the questions then, bro?
Sure, no problem.
Perfect. So first question is, I know I've watched this from the outside, but I've never really asked you much about it. So can you tell me a bit about your journey to becoming a technical program manager at Citrix, and how you got there, please?
Yeah, no problem. So kind of been in the IT industry for around about 26 years. Started as an engineer a long time ago. Started in a small company, which kind of led me to actually gain a lot of technical experience, and kind of moved around from there to banks, retail, back to into that startup company. So around about 10 years as an engineer, then kind of decided to actually transition into project management. So kind of went into project coordination, and was lucky enough to actually gain a role with a consultancy, which kind of gave me the opportunity to develop into project management, which was very good.
What would you say the role of a technical program manager is?
The role of a technical program manager for me is someone who, so there's different aspects of a program manager. So as a program manager, you can actually work at a strategic level.
Okay.
Some people manage multiple projects and work on coordinating the actual individual projects and making sure they're kind of aligned to a strategic goal.
Yeah.
As well as that, you also got the interaction with the business as well, providing that high level viewpoint about what the overall objectives are at a high level in terms of what the overall progress is and stuff like that. So I think for me, if you just took it in essence, it's more strategic rather than actual operational work.
Okay. Okay, fine. And then is that what the difference between, say, program and project management is? It's more high level.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, so if you look at the different types of project management, program management, you now got the looking at different types of methodologies. So you got Prince, you got PMI, you also got now Agile, which is now kind of scaling into more enterprise type work as well. So you got scaled Agile. Where you start to see the same similarities in terms of having someone who who looks at the detail. So looking at a objective level, in terms of actually driving those objectives and making sure it's looking at the operational progress of a project. And then as you get more projects, you kind of need the team kind of builds. So not only you got your engineers and your project manager, your team grows and grows. As you get multiple projects, the overall management becomes more complex, and perhaps in most cases you don't have a line manager who manages that. You have a program manager.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. And then, what does an average day in your life as a technical program manager look like?
Average day. One aspect. There's a lot of kind of relationships management. So kind of actually have a lot of discussions or communications with a lot of different types of people. So with the business and within services such as procurement and finance as well. In terms of, obviously, there's a cost usually around delivering a project, not only just in terms of resourcing, but purchasing of different products. So having that relationship with finance is quite key. Procurement as well, in terms of that relationship in terms of purchasing any goods you need for particular projects or something like that. So and also the stakeholders, just keeping in line in terms of the overall progress, and just starting to think about what comes next. So there's the ongoing in terms of make sure the right visibility to the stakeholders in terms of what progress has been made, but also kind of what's actually speaking to them in terms of what's coming up.
Okay, cool. And then of those things that you find yourself doing on a day-to-day basis, what is your favorite thing about your job?
What's my favorite thing? I suppose the two things I like to do, I like about my role, and it kind of includes my technical skills, is the fact that working with people obviously is great, and that's why actually lockdown is quite hard at the moment, because you don't get to interact as you like on a one-to-one basis or in physical form in terms of working in an office. And the second thing is obviously the actual technical side. So working in technology, it's always changing.
Okay.
It's always kind of come up with new ideas and new ways of working. So that's just working with technologies is the two things: technology and people.
What made you choose this specific path in technology rather than other potential routes, like rather than sticking to being an engineer or something like that?
So I suppose the honest answer is around people. So when it's about 15 years ago now. So as an engineer, I started to actually look at my career in terms of where I wanted to go next. So I got to a point where I started becoming like a senior technical analyst, so more driving towards an architecture role.
Okay.
And then I started to think to myself in terms of where I wanted to go next, and started looking around, speaking to people, like within my environment, the company I was working with at the time, and started to look at other people in terms of what they were doing, and looking at managers and how they worked and stuff like that. And I started to think to myself in terms of, I started to see that potentially to get things done, perhaps I might be better to actually progress into a more management role.
Okay.
I decided I didn't want to actually manage, at that time I didn't feel like I wanted to manage people on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And I felt that the key thing for me was about work with people to get them to understand about technology and why things need to be done in terms of security or automation and things like that. So rather than actually keep along the technical role, and obviously there's a constant need to actually refresh your technical skills, I decided that I kind of wanted to actually look at the project management side and kind of actually work with people to actually get to help them, well, to translate the technical the technical language, the technical ways of doing things into a more business-like kind of language, so people can understand the reasoning why things need to be done.
Brilliant, brilliant. And is where you are today, first of all, sorry, is where you are today where you thought you'd be 10 years ago?
In terms of role, absolutely. So where I saw myself 10 years, so I was working for consultancy 10 years ago. I had the opportunity to go back to technical at the time. So I think I was actually coming off a contract, and there was an option to 2P to the company I was working for. They had a technical role, so they actually have two options for me. So either like a technical operations role or project management. And I kind of wanted to stay in project management. I didn't have the option to do that at that company, so I decided to stick with the consultancy at the time, and like far as I'm concerned, I actually never looked back.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And then, say when you were younger, then before you got into tech, what did you want to be then?
When I left school,
yeah,
I didn't really have a real desire then. I think that's quite interesting the fact that I didn't see myself. I didn't really have a career direction at that time. I didn't really actually understand what was out there for me. I should kind of point out, like, I didn't go to university when I left school because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I kind of actually left school and actually got into construction. I was a glazier for a couple of years, and then after finishing that, working outside in the cold for 2 years, wasn't great. I decided that I kind of wanted to actually do something more inside, and IT was the actual role I felt was actually good for me.
Now moving on to questions more about culture, identity in the workplace. Firstly, what or who do you feel you represent when you're in the workplace?
I feel I represent the person who kind of, as I said before, because I left school, I didn't actually understand what I wanted to do. Perhaps I was unskilled at the time. I feel that I represent the people who perhaps don't necessarily have the actual right qualifications, the right skills, and feel that they may not be able to progress well. You know, so I kind of feel like I represent the underdog, perhaps. Okay. You know, and for anyone out there who feels that we're not too sure what to do, or they don't feel that there's an end goal towards for their life, I suppose. I can't actually feel that. To tell those people, stay patient and obviously try and find new experiences, try new ways of working, because like you don't know unless you try and actually find the actual right role that suits you.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that, bro. And being from that underdog background, as you just described, then are there any stereotypes or ideologies you feel you've had to disprove when in the workplace?
I suppose there's a few things like so one of the things is like for me, I don't know, there's the mission of communication. So I can't actually, so as you know, I'm someone that stutters.
Yeah.
So perhaps the communication, because of someone who stutters, perhaps the perspective is like someone who stutters doesn't communicate as well. But for me, I don't think I've been able. That's limited me as much as people perceive that may have done.
Yeah.
Have I been to Speech Fairful? Yes, I have. Yeah, I've been a couple of times, and
Yeah.
I found that very useful. So it's not really limited to me, and I think the support from companies has always been there. So yeah, I think that's the one of the things which has been the perception, but I feel like I've overcome that. What I mean, the reason why I say that is I was talking about earlier about when I was an engineer and wanted to become a project manager. So the companies at the time, I did ask at the time, I did say at the time I wanted to become a project manager, and for whatever reason, they just felt that I wasn't had the capability to do so. I then left that company, and that's why I say that. Plus, I also talked about the fact that I went on to consultancy who gave me the opportunity to do just that. And obviously, working in front of clients compared to working in the same company is different and perhaps harder. In my perspective, it was harder, but I still overcame the challenges of that and was able to actually succeed.
Brilliant, brilliant. And then, no doubt, obviously, I can see that you come out the other end successful and done excellent. But are there any tips you'd give to somebody who may have like a stutter or a speech impediment to help build confidence at work?
It's a difficult one because I kind of know fellow stutterers and it's something which is personal to them, their experience, their form of speech impediment as well. So I wouldn't necessarily give personal advice, individual advice to no, say it again. I wouldn't give general advice to individuals due to the personal circumstances.
Okay, fair enough. To ask it a different way then, is there anything you've done to help build your confidence and you've seen have good effects for yourself?
I suppose, like for me, I've always challenged myself. So anything which I kind of feel that I feel I can't do, I have to challenge it. I have to challenge it from working in different working environments. I've kind of worked in banks, so high stress environments with banks or things like that. I've always challenged myself to actually work in terms of where I work, in terms of location, and obviously the actual different sectors as well. And I find that has provided me the experience and obviously to build up that self-esteem from actually working in those different environments. To actually feel more confident. Obviously, stuttering is not just about that. There's other things. There's the language side as well. So speech therapy helps.
Okay.
But in terms of self-esteem, working in different environments has definitely helped.
Oh, brilliant. Love that. And then we've just discussed, just stutter and speech impediments, but are there any other hurdles that you felt you've had to overcome throughout your career?
Can't think of anything, not necessarily, no. I mean, like from my personal experience, I mean, in terms of my ethnic background, I don't feel that I'm necessarily seen it as a hurdle.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say the people who have provided me the support or the encouragement have been white. You know, I mean,
Okay.
like I've got encouragement from when I was an engineer to in terms of like being told that I could be anything I want at the beginning. So like I could go up to architecture if I wanted to. If I saw the potential in me and gave me the support to do that.
Yeah.
In terms of project management, you know, like I've been like people actually just give me that support, encouragement to progress in this area, and
Yeah.
I definitely feel that anytime I felt that I needed advice, I think the support has always been there.
Okay. That's brilliant.
And I've had, and obviously as well, that goes along with having great mentorship from those individuals who I've worked with in the past.
If there was somebody coming from a similar ethnic background or community
Yep.
to you, looking to follow a path as a technical project manager, oh sorry, a technical program manager, what advice would you give to them?
So I would give them, so if they wanted to become a program manager, two things I'd ask them is why. So there's a process of the five whys we use in project management to kind of actually drill down in terms of why you're actually doing a particular piece of work or objective, or trying to get to an objective, just get that to that root cause.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps one of the things I would actually do is actually just drill down to, you know, reach deep down and understand why you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is being adaptable, flexible. So some of the key things I feel which was useful. You're never actually going to get everything you want from day one.
Yeah.
So perhaps you might need to actually be flexible, adaptable to actually work your way up, and potentially work in a location which you're not really comfortable with. So you know, I think those are the key things for me, which I think was useful for me. I mean, one of the things I've done throughout my career is not being I've been flexible in terms of where I work. So from being a technical person, being an engineer, I kind of actually used to travel about an hour and a half journey when I was in my 20s. So yeah. used to live in Enfield, travel all the way to Hampstead every day for about 2 years. As a project manager, when I was trying to actually pursue that, I was living in Barnet, and I was travelling from there to Leatherhead for a good 9 months. So yeah. having that flexibility kind of actually, I feel, gave me the possibilities to gain experience I needed to actually work in the actual role I am now.
What do you think the fundamental aspects of creating an inclusive culture are?
I feel that one of the key things is being respectful, being open, being curious as well. I feel that being curious, asking about understand different people's cultures, perspectives, it helps others be more comfortable with working with different cultures. So I feel that's quite useful.
Okay. Lovely. And as you said, you're at Citrix at the moment. Is there anything that Citrix are doing especially well to drive that inclusivity and create a better working culture?
Yeah, I mean, we're on a big recruitment drive at the moment. I think there's a lot of discussions. I mean, one of the good things about Citrix is, even though it's a large company, it's very closely regional. So, I work in the UK. I can't actually get to know a lot of people who work at Citrix in the UK, even though we may work in different offices. There's always communication routes whereby you can actually engage with different people. So when it comes to recruitment, there's always communications around recruitment, trying to actually get people to be involved with the recruitment drive, whether or not be presenting in universities or schools, things like that. So
Yeah.
I think that helps to drive up not only the company visibility, but can actually just to expand that net of actually trying to reach out to different types of people.
Yeah.
And just get more people familiarized with the company and what we do.
If you could change anything about hiring processes at the moment to make those more inclusive and diverse, is there anything you'd suggest?
I suppose one of the things we want to do in technology is to increase the diversity across the board. So one of the ways we do that is obviously do that from the actual recruitment point of view in terms of interview process and making sure more diverse people included with that process.
Yeah.
Whether not it's just say male, female, or from ethnic minorities, things like that. But perhaps in some cases that could be a bit daunting for the candidate in terms of the actual amount of people they need to be interviewed by to feel that way. So things like, as I said before, we try to do in Citrix, there's the drive to actually have those seminars or 10 universities to actually show who actually works at Citrix. I think things like that was quite useful. And perhaps even promotional videos more, especially in these times, these COVID times, more promotional videos around working life and the environment and things like that.
Yeah. All right. Brilliant. And then thanks for your brilliant answers. But we've hit the last questions, right? The last question now. So are there any companies or organizations that you'd like to shout out for doing great work in communities that you care about?
Citrix is one. Believe it or not, I think companies like Citrix, who one of the good things about working with Citrix is the work with communities and charities we do. One of the things I like is the fact that, as well as having your holidays, they have extra days assigned for what are called GDI days.
Yeah.
So, which specifically for working in the community or charities, things like that. So you can actually, as well as your holiday, you can also take time off to actually work for charities, which is good.
That's brilliant. That's excellent. But yeah, as I said, thank you so much for your brilliant answers. As I said, thanks for being an inspiration and also taking the time to sit down and speak to me, Chris.
No problem at all.
No problem. Take care.